Derrick Rose, if you're watching this, this video is for you. The Chicago Bulls, if you're watching this video is for you too, fam. Derrick Rose is one of the most beloved NBA players to anybody in history, of course, but especially if you are from Chicago. If you're a Bulls fan and Derrick Rose is not in your top 5, bro, are you even a Bulls fan? Derrick Rose literally transformed the game as a player in terms of his swiftness, his quickness, his humility, etc. But definitely how we looked up to players here in Chicago. It was a game changer, man. I know if you lived in the time of Jordan, then you got it, bro. Then of course, he's the GOAT. He's your GOAT. He's a lot of people's GOAT. But if you didn't watch the Jordan era and you were a Bulls fan, Derrick Rose was like that first gloom of light that kind of came into a Bulls fan's eye. Youngest MVP, and we literally call him our MVP. And even till today, if you are a Bulls fan and you go to the United Center, which I do all the time, and I try to make it a point at least once a season to see Derrick Rose come out here and play in Chicago, and I'm telling you, even till today, what has it been, 5 years more? Even till today, when Derrick Rose is playing as the opposite player on the opposite team, Bulls fans are rooting for him and they're calling him MVP. That's what he's done, that's who he is, and that's what we aspire for him to be, a Bulls player again. You know what I'm trying to say? He is still our MVP. I don't care what team he's at. He could be playing for OKC, he could be playing for New York, Detroit, Minnesota, Cavs, Lakers. He is the Bulls MVP, and that's the purpose of this video, is to share why this brother, this MVP, this future Bulls Hall of Famer, needs to come back to the Chicago Bulls. It's the most perfect fit in terms of a team for him. He's 33, turning 34 years old. He's coming off a season where he didn't play too many games because of injury, but the season prior, a lot of people said, especially in the playoffs, that this brother was the best player on the Knicks. We saw the playoff series, and Julius Randle didn't show up as much as Derrick Rose did, who's 33 years old. If you an NBA fan, you saw that. You knew what was happening. A season before that, this brother scores 50 points. 50 points with the Timberwolves. You gotta respect that. Maybe the season prior, because he played in Detroit for a little bit. But dude, are you serious? This player, Derrick Rose, went through so much in his career. And I'm trying not to go back in memory lane, but when he first got his first injury, it was one of the hardest things to see. Because I'm telling you, bro, that this Chicago Bulls team, they had the DNA to win a chip. They had a DNA to win a chip, and the only team that was in their way was Miami, bro. No team was going to stop this Bulls team except the villain at the time, who's now everybody's superhero, a lot of people's superhero, LeBron. Him, Wade, Bosh, you name it. That was the villains of that time, and we could have beat them if we had a healthy Derrick Rose, and I'm going to stand with that. And there's so many videos. What if Derrick Rose never got injured? You could watch those. I'll bet you at least 95% of them have the Bulls winning at least one championship, right? That'd be wild if it doesn't. But yes, he tears his ACL. He hasn't even hit his prime yet, and he's going to hit his prime, off the MVP season. Tears the ACL, one of the hardest things to witness, ends up coming back a year or so later. Huge campaign to get this guy back, and he ends up coming back, plays well, but boom. Unfortunately, gets hurt again. And I remember I was at the Hunger Game movie, and I heard this news, and my heart just sunk. I'm watching the movie. I didn't care about the movie. My heart was with Rose at the time. Hardest thing ever to witness. Ends up going through all the rehab and everything that had to be done, and he ends up coming back. I believe another injury happened, and this is when the Chicago Bulls ended up trading him. The crazy thing that a lot of people don't talk about is when they traded him to the Knicks, which was probably one of the worst trades ever, because no disrespect to Robin Lopez, you had a lot of charisma for our squad, fam, but bro, Derrick Rose for Robin Lopez, are you serious? What a lot of people don't realize is Derrick Rose was not traded for Robin Lopez, etc. to the Knicks at a time when Derrick Rose was injured and gone for 2 years, etc. Right? He literally was back and ready to go, and actually showed games of himself doing very well prior to the season ending. I vividly remember, I'm like, yo, Derrick Rose is back. He's getting some 20-plus point games, getting some good dimes, swifty, making layups. Like, if you were a Bulls fan, especially a D-Rose fan, you saw him. You saw him coming back. Like, bro, after all these years, we finally gonna do this with Jimmy Butler, Derrick Rose. This next season's gonna be lit. And then they trade Derrick Rose for Robin Lopez, etc. And I was so pissed, bro, because I didn't know what the Bulls were without Derrick Rose. Look, man, side tangent. I have never, ever, ever seen any player applauded louder than Derrick Rose has in any history of any game I've ever been to, and I've been to all the arenas, man, or many of them, right? I went to Golden State, I went to Los Angeles, I went to Toronto, I went to OKC, man, I went to Indiana, I went to like so many different arenas, and no one has applauded louder than Derrick Rose was, even in Bulls history, bro. No, I love Levine, I love DeRozan, all these awesome players, but even these players right now, man, Derrick Rose was something special, and I couldn't even hear anything when Rose was cheered for. Derrick Rose is cheered for now, even if he's playing on an opposing team, and that's just insane, bro. Literally MVP chance for Derrick Rose playing on the Knicks, playing on the Timberwolves, whatever. We still call him our MVP. So all to say that he right now is with the Knicks, and the Bulls have a lot of point guards on their squad, and they need to go ahead and push to get a Derrick Rose. I think there's one thing we've learned of the importance of in regards to the NBA season, and that's having a veteran in your squad. You look at the Miami Heat, who won the championship a couple years ago, been in the playoffs nonstop for so many years in a row. They still want to sign Udonis Haslem. Why? Why is Haslem still being signed if he ain't even playing a game? It's because the value he brings as a veteran. PJ Tucker, 37 years old, bro. Why is this guy getting all these contracts? Because not only can he shoot that corner rock like a boss and play good defense, but he's a veteran and an NBA champ for that matter. Veterans are so important to the development of a young core. You look at the Lakers, it's just too many veterans, bro. That was the mistake. They had too many veterans. But you look at all the players who end up winning chips, and you can see it. You look at the Warriors who just won. They have the veterans. Curry is now a veteran. Clay is a veteran, and Draymond Green's a veteran. You look at Jordan Poole, who just elevated, right? It just makes sense. You look at Chris Paul being the veteran to the Devin Booker and Aidens of the world. You look at all these teams that are starting to grow and starting to make moves. You see that the veteran is so important to their development. So now we go to the Chicago Bulls, and they have so many guards, assets that they can trade, and now they got to go ahead and do this for a Derrick Rose. If the Bulls trade for Derrick Rose right now, not only do they get Rose as a veteran, which they desperately need, but they also get Derrick Rose as an efficient player. 33 years old, turning 34. He has juice in the tank, man. And I'm telling you, he may not get a lot of opportunity with the Knicks. Granted, Thibodeau plays him all the time and trusts him, etc. But with Quickly and all the guards that they get in, and just the new young wave that they want to go, Derrick Rose is definitely going to have that veteran role wherever he goes, whether it's in New York or the Bulls. But bro, he's from Chicago, and he even says, I want to come back to Chicago. So this is the time for the Bulls to do it, and they have the pieces to do it, like Kobe White. They have a lot of guards, so they're going to have to trade some guards. But Lonzo Ball, he's questionable, man. He's questionable with the knee injury. And Goran Dragic is a boss, don't get me wrong. But Derrick Rose slam dunked on his face 10 years ago. All right, we're getting back to normal. But that's fine. Goran Dragic is great, but Derrick Rose still got juice in his tank, man. And I'm telling you, he can mentor Ayo, who's here from Chicago, and he can mentor so many of the other people that we have on our team, Zach LaVine, etc. Be a great component next alongside with DeMar DeRozan. Come off the bench, if you will. Get the ticket sales. But this is the time, the season, that Derrick Rose has to come back to Chicago, and the Chicago Bulls got to act on it now, because we got a good core, and we can get an even better outcome this season with some veterans, and of course the return of Derrick Rose. So in the comments down below, everybody, I know I talked a lot about Derrick Rose, but you already know I'm super passionate about this guy, so I gotta ask y'all, man, what do you think about Derrick Rose? Does he have juice left in the tank, and what is the best team for him? Is it to stay with the Knicks? Is it to go to a team like the Chicago Bulls, or to go to even a bigger contender like Milwaukee, who has shown some interest, or other teams like that? Let me know in the comments down below. Derrick Rose, if you're watching this, bro, we want you back home. You want to go back home. Let's make it happen, man. Peace.